Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. This is where I kind of take a deep dive into a particular product or a particular creator. And I want to say thank you so much for all the feedback that I've had on the review show that I put up a few weeks ago. The 4 really terrible tricks and better alternatives, and I know people want to see more of these, and I will be doing more of them, but I have to kind of wait until I've collected 4 tricks that are bad, that I can think of better versions of them. I can't just kind of make it up out the air, unfortunately. So as things are coming in for review, if I see something and I don't like it, and I can think of something better that achieves the same thing, I'm putting them to one side. I've got like 2 so far tucked away. When I get 4, I'll do another one of those review shows for you, but it's not something that you can rush. However, we are going to try a new format tonight as well. I do get a lot of people asking me about downloads, mainly because I talk about them all the time. And you know what? I talk about terrible downloads in the Magic community, but there are good downloads as well. So I want to do a kind of a one-off review show, and I want you guys to give me some feedback on what you think of this format. I'm going to do a review show on downloads. I'm going to take 4 downloads that are relatively new, and I'm going to review them, and I'm going to let you know what I think of them. So it's just going to be like a normal review show, but it's going to be specifically to downloads. Let me know what you think. If you like this, I'll probably do another one of these. These are a lot easier to do than the 4 terrible tricks and better alternatives, because there's downloads coming out literally all of the time. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a look at 4 downloads, and the first one I'm going to look at is incredible. It really is. It's actually a really good download. It's from a guy that I've never heard before. Never heard of this guy before, but he's come up with a really nice idea. So let's have a look at this first download right now. Okay, so the first download, I'm going to really struggle to pronounce this guy's name, and I apologize ahead of time. That's one of my big things that I'm terrible at, pronouncing people's names. But this is called Last Digit. It's available through Penguin Magic. I think it came out through Murphy's, which means it's available from all good Magic dealers, to be honest. But it's called Last Digit, and it's by Anubhav Srivastava. I think that's it. But it's called Last Digit. Now, this, I kind of got made aware of this on the Magic Cafe because it popped up on the latest and greatest, and the creator himself posted a link through to a video of him doing a live unedited performance. And as is normal with the Magic Cafe, this guy got grilled, and it was like, well, are you using a remote control? Are you, is this a full accurate performance of the routine? There was a whole bunch of questions that people were asking, and he was being very honest with his answers. And I was completely fooled. I looked at this, I was like, it makes no sense. I can't understand how this can be done. And I got the download. It's only a 15-minute download. And when I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so clever. That is such a clever technique. I'm going to perform the routine for you first of all. I'm actually going to perform it on Ryland. So I'm going to perform the routine on you so you can see exactly what this is all about. And then I'll talk about the pros and the cons. Oh. Now, you've never seen this before, have you? Yes. No. Yes. No. What we have here is we have my phone. Now, if you pick the phone up and open it and get to the unlock screen, you'll notice there's something a little bit different to normal. I've gone from 6 digits to 4 digits. I have changed my unlock code. You know my old one, so I've changed it to a new one that you do not know. We're going to see if you can guess what that code actually is, okay? Yeah. So there's 4 digits. When I snap my fingers, say a digit out loud and key it into the phone.
6.
Go for it. When I snap my fingers again, say another digit and key it into the phone.
3.
Okay, you sure? When I snap my fingers, say another digit, key into the code.
6.
Okay, so one final one, yeah? We've got 636, one final one. The final digit. Turn the phone over with your other finger, bring it up anywhere onto the phone that you want to. Was that fair?
Yeah.
You're not going to believe this. This is going to knock your socks off. Turn the phone over, have a look. You unlocked the phone by magic with the power of your mind. You are an expert. Don't tell anyone my code. You've got to keep it to yourself, all right? So that is a complete, full, accurate performance of Last Digit. It does play as accurately as you just saw me do it there. That's it. What you have with this routine is you have the ability to get a spectator to unlock your iPhone whenever you want to. Now, I don't know if this will work with Android. It uses features that are, as far as I'm aware, exclusive with the iPhone. I have never had an Android, so I don't know. However, I do have friends that have Androids, and they tell me that every feature that's on the iPhone has come up on Androids like up to 5 or 6 years before. So I'll be surprised if an Android didn't have this feature. I don't know. The download that explains how the routine's done, it explains it with an iPhone, and they never at any point talk about Androids. I don't actually know what the review copy says. Sorry, not the review copy. I don't know what the ad copy says. I don't know if it actually says on there works with all phones, but that's something that should be included in there, to be honest, if it doesn't work with an Android. But basically, there's no special apps of any description. There's no remote controls that you need to carry around with you. It uses functions that are within the iPhone that enable you to do this at the drop of a hat. It's an instant reset. There's no stooging. The spectator's not in on it. You literally take out your phone. You get them to key in 3 digits. They turn the phone over. You get them to key in the last digit. And when they do, it unlocks the phone. Now, I changed it ever so slightly to how he does it, just to make it work better for myself. But I mean, it's a cosmetic change. It isn't even worth saying, to be honest. But the things that you need to be aware of, that final digit has to be done without the spectator looking at what the final digit is. To be honest, that's not really a problem, but it's something that you should be aware of. They can't just go boom, 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 boom and unlock the phone. They have to go boom, 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 and then turn the phone over and then press somewhere on the screen. You will need a delay timer of about 5 seconds. So when they turn that phone over, you're going to need about 5 seconds before they bring their finger up on the screen of the phone. That's also something that you need to be aware of. It's very easy to do. It really, really is. However, it is some restrictions. Okay, so it can be done walk around. It can be done mix and mingle. You don't require a table. You don't need to do any pre-show. It's an instant reset. But one thing that you do need to be aware of, you'd struggle doing this in a noisy environment. So if you're in a corporate do and there were like hundreds of people around you and everyone's talking, you might struggle doing it in a noisy environment, or a nightclub or a festival where there's loud music playing, or one of those Christmas parties where the DJ's playing really loud music. That might affect the method. I don't know because I haven't tried that, but that's something that you should be aware of. Other than that, I mean, it's only $10. It is a really cheap download. You'll be doing this within 15 minutes. As soon as you've watched the download and you've followed along, he explains exactly what you need to do to make this happen. As soon as you've followed along, you're ready to go, you're good to go. And it'll just work every single time. I've tried it a few different times. I've tried it on a few different people. It works every single time. It's just a really fun trick. I like doing routines with my mobile phone, as you know. I've talked about this on the channel before, and this is a great addition. And it would be a great addition to going into something with the spectator's phone. If you do a routine where you unlock the spectator's phone, it might be Unlock Your Mind or one of the really clever apps, or it could be Codebreaker by Michael Murray and Greg Wilson. Any of those type of routines. I talked about Codebreaker on this channel when I talked about the 3 best tricks with a borrowed mobile phone that you've never seen before. Any of those routines that allow you to unlock a spectator's phone, this is a nice lead-in. Because they're unlocking your phone, you can then say, well, let's see if we can take this one step further, and then you can go into unlocking their phone. In fact, if you're using a Codebreaker style routine where you're getting the information in the context of another trick, you could do that trick, then put the phone to one side, show them this, and then go back to their phone, and you've got that time misdirection before you work out what their code is. So there's a few nice performing options with this, but if you've got an iPhone, and you want something that's super commercial, as long as you're aware of that one limitation about noise issues being a bit of a factor, then this is a good trick. This is going to stay on my phone. I've set this up. This is going to stay on my phone. I'm going to do this and see what the reactions are like. I think the reactions will be really good, especially if I combine it with something else. I'm going to give this 85%. I think it's great. It's a very good price and it's well worth buying. So there you go. That's the first download review. Let's have a look now at the second review. Okay, so the second review is called Glass Thru by Ebbytones. Glass Thru by Ebbytones. I hate this. I absolutely, completely, and totally and utterly hate this, and I'm going to explain why I hate it, but this is absolutely terrible. In fact, this is one of the few products on this channel that I'm not going to perform this. I'm not going to make it up, because I'm going to need to get myself a couple of cardboard cups and I'm going to have to prep it, and I just can't be bothered, because this trick is so obvious it won't fool a blind monkey, and if I just play you the trailer, it's going to be obvious to everyone watching this how it works, I think. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the trailer for you. I'm going to play you the trailer right now so you can see exactly what it is that this is meant to look like, and then we'll talk about why it's so terrible. So here we go. This is called Glass Through by Ebbytones. So first of all, it's not a glass. There's no glass in this product at all. It is a cardboard cup and a pen. Where we get glass through, I don't know. Especially as during the explanation, the 4-minute explanation, by the way, that's right. You pay your money and you get I think it's $8 or $10, I can't remember. But you pay your money and you get a 4-minute download. And on that 4-minute download, you have the person. Well, there's no speaking at all. You don't even see the person's face. You see their hands as they create the gimmick. And several times the subtitles talk about hold the glass, do this with the glass, do that with the glass. There's no glass, just to be clear. It's not like, oh, there's a bonus handling that uses a glass. No, it's a cardboard cup. Now, I have several issues with this. The first issue is I think the method is very, very transparent. I mean, it's completely transparent, to be perfectly honest. It's obvious what is going on. You know, if you show this to a layman, and you show a pen going through a cup like that, they are immediately going to think that it is a dodgy cup and somehow there's a hole in the cup, which is exactly what the method is. And I think that's terrible. When you're creating a magic trick and you're creating a trick where the only possible logical solution is what the actual method is, well, that's not good. And it's even worse when in this situation, they can't examine the cup at all. You do this thing, you show the cup, you put the pen through the cup, and you show that the pen goes through the cup from both sides. Your average layman is now going to say, hang on a minute, let me have a look at that cup. You can't let them look at it. You can't let them go anywhere near it, because if they even go close to it, they're going to see exactly how this works. They're just going to see how it works, because it's obvious to anybody. Well, it's obvious anyway, but at least if you can hand it out, then you could kind of go, well, okay, well, maybe you're leading them down the garden path and then you're going to slap them around the face or something. But that's not the case. They immediately will want to look at the cup, and they cannot look at the cup. But the download is 4 minutes. So it's not like, I genuinely don't think that the person who has created and released this has ever performed it to real people. There's no live performance footage at all. There's no advice on performing this and angles, or where you can perform it and where you can't perform it and what the best situations are to perform it. There's no live performance footage, not even to camera. I mean, literally, it's just got an overhead cam with a little sort of kind of board. He's showing you how to, actually, she, I don't know. They're showing you how to prep the cup. And then once they've shown you how to prep the cup, they show you the handling of pushing the pen through the cup from both sides. And then that's it. And it comes up with a thing at the bottom saying, it comes up at the end with a black screen with some writing saying, thanks for supporting my project. And then it says at the very, very end, if anything in this download was unclear, I apologise. Well, that's not good enough. If something's not clear in the download and you feel that it's probably not going to be clear, don't put an apology on it, refilm it and make it so that everybody knows exactly what they need to know in order to perform the trick. But as I say, the trick itself is terrible. The trick is terrible. The presentation is non-existent. The tutorial is terrible. There are way better ways of achieving this thing. And to be honest, if I said somebody brand new to magic, here's a cardboard cup. Here's a Sharpie. Try and think of a way to push this Sharpie through this cup. This is probably the method that they would come up with. And as I say, I go back to the fact that this is something that I think that this creator hasn't ever performed in the real world, ever. I honestly think that they had the idea and they haven't worked it in, they haven't tried it out, they haven't showed it to other people. They had the idea, they thought, hey, that looks pretty good. They've filmed it and they've uploaded it to Penguin so that people can buy it from Penguin or wherever it is they're buying it from. I think that's where we are with this. I think that's the situation. And this is the problem with downloads, and this is why I hate downloads. There is no quality control, but there's going to be new people getting into magic that are going to watch this, and the actual trailer, you go, oh, look, that pen goes through that cup. Oh, okay, let me get this, and they're going to get it, and they're going to try and do it, and they're not going to get it to work, or they're going to get busted on it, or they're going to get called out on it, and it does a disservice to new people getting into magic. Honestly, this is the sort of product that I really hate, and this is the sort of product that makes my case for me when it comes to bad magic downloads. Honestly, let me know in the comments down below. Is there anybody watching this review show, anybody at all, that would do this? Because it's terrible. It's beyond terrible. It gets 0%. Please don't buy it. Buyer beware. Please don't buy this trick. So the next review I'm going to be looking at is Vittoria by Joseph B. Now, Joseph B, we've reviewed a few things on here on the channel before. Vittoria is another one. Now, Joseph B, I've done a rant on this before. Joseph B seems absolutely, completely, and totally obsessed with fooling magicians, because almost every single one of his trailers, almost every single ad copy that he ever writes goes on about, hey, this will fool magicians. This is a real magician fooler. A lot of his techniques are designed to fool magicians. So maybe I am the wrong market for this trick. Maybe, because I don't care about fooling magicians. Magicians aren't my customers. My customers are people who book me for events. And I perform for magicians on this channel, but my goal is not to fool you. My goal is to present magic to you that I think would be really cool to perform to your friends, family, and customers as well. So I don't care less about fooling. I don't care about fooling magicians. It's not something I'm interested in, but Joseph is, and you should be aware of that before we go into the review, because what we have here is we have, in essence, when you boil it down to its bare basics, we have here a way of having a card picked and found in a fairly fooling way. That's what we have. We don't have anything unique here. We don't have anything new. We don't have anything different. There's nothing new that's been brought to the table beyond the procedure that we use to find the selected card. What I mean by that, I'm not saying this is a new or this is a rip-off. What I'm saying is there's nothing new in terms of effect. The effect is somebody picks a card and you find it. There are a million ways to do this. It's not like he's brought something new out that's like, oh, the card floats out the deck, does 15 somersaults, lands on the table and does a little dance. It's nothing like that. You have a card picked and you find it. That's what it is. I'm going to perform this on Ryland and I'm going to show you exactly what this looks like. And you can see the procedure that you have to go through in order to find the card. So let's have a look at the full performance of this right now. Use regular deck of cards, right? 52 cards. Are you happy with that?
Yes.
Good stuff. We'll put the box over there out of the way. Now, I could shuffle the cards. You could shuffle the cards, but maybe you think that if I shuffle, I'm doing something sneaky. Maybe you think if you shuffle, I'm shuffle tracking. So the best way to do this is to do this. Just smush all the cards around, right? Give them all a smush. Smush them all, and then, whoa. Pick up the cards that have fallen on the floor if you can, please, right? Because we want to make sure that I don't lose any cards in the deck, even though it doesn't have to be a full deck. Very good. And then we'll bring them back together. Is those cards well and truly mixed? Did one fall over there?
Yeah.
Do you want to grab it? There we go. So you can put that one somewhere into the middle. And would you agree that those cards are well and truly mixed up?
Yes.
Now, what I want you to do, right, I want you to cut the cards into 10 packets and try and make each packet equal-ish, as equal as possible. So you're going to have 10 little packets. You can move the cards around when you've cut them into 10 piles if you want to. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, do you want to move any of the cards around to make it? I think that you've done pretty well there. Do you want to move any of them around? Are you happy?
I think you can't set this quite good.
So you did all the smushy round of the decks, and they couldn't be in any particular order. You then cut into 10 piles, right? You're going to pick one of these piles. Just point to one. Which one would you like?
That one.
Okay. So what I want you to do, right, is I want you to think of one of the cards there. Can you think of one?
Yes, got it.
You've got one of those cards, yeah? What I want you to do is take the cards like that. I don't know what card, I don't want to know what any of the cards are there, but I want you to spread them towards yourself, and whatever the card is, cut it to the face. So if it was the Queen of Spades, you cut it to the face. Obviously, it's not going to be the Queen. Don't let me see any of the cards there. Have you done that?
Yes.
Very good. So now, I know, don't let me see, I'm going to turn around, don't let me see what the card is. So now I know that your card's on the face of that packet, but I don't know at all what the card is. Is that fair?
Yes.
We're now going to reassemble the deck. What I want you to do, you can put that packet on any pile that you want to. Put that packet on any one of the other 9 piles. And now I'm going to turn around. You can pick those cards up in any order that you want to. And, you know, you can put them on there or them on there. It doesn't really matter. So you end up, there you go, with a pack of cards that is back together. And I don't want to see what you're doing. Is that fair, my friend?
Yes.
Think about this now. There's absolutely no way I could know what your card is or where it is. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Now, we're going to do one more thing. I want you can do this yourself, actually. Cut half the cards there. Very good. And what I want you to do is I want to riffle shuffle the cards together, but don't square them up because we're going to spread them out on the table. So just riffle them, don't square them up. Okay, cool. Because I want you to see something. These cards really are, there you go, well and truly mixed up. Is that fair?
Yes.
You've really shuffled those, yeah? Square them up. You done? Are all squared?
Yeah.
Pass me the cards back. So I couldn't possibly know what your card is, could I?
No.
Concentrate on the card. Concentrate on the... Oh, there's a double backer in this deck. You didn't pick a double backer, did you?
No.
Magician's deck for sure. Okay, I think I've got one card and one card only. Think about this. Think about this. You could have had any one of these cards from this deck of 52. Hang on a minute. You smush them. Then you cut them into 10 piles. You pick one of the piles. You thought of one of those cards. Then you put the cards back together. Then you cut. Then you shuffled. You did everything. Ryland, turn that card over. Was that your card?
Is that my card?
Boom! There you go. That was his card. There you go. So let's just get the obvious negatives of this out the way. So the first obvious negative is you are going to need a lot of table space. You're going to need a lot of table space because they're going to have to cut 10 piles of cards. The method involves you cutting 10 piles of cards. Secondly, the shuffle that you do at the beginning where you're smushing them all together, that is the shuffle he advises you to do. Because of how the method works, you couldn't really do any other shuffle. And so he advises you doing this in order to make it look really fair. Thirdly, at one point in the routine towards the end, you're going to have to get the spectator to do a riffle shuffle. Which is fine, but if you haven't got a spectator that can do a riffle shuffle, you're going to have to do it yourself because you are going to need to do a riffle shuffle at that point. And also, you're going to need a close-up pad because you spread the cards out on the table at that point. At 50% of the time, when they've done that shuffle, you're going to have to spread the cards out on the table, apparently to show that the cards are mixed, but in reality, you're doing something else. So you are going to need a table with a close-up mat in order to perform this, and you're going to need a table with a lot of space. You can't put one of those little table hopper things down and do it all on there. Like I say, you're going to need 10 packets of cards. Okay, The pros are, it's a regular deck of cards. There's no gimmicks. There's no extras. There's no setup as such. You can set it up on the fly within literally 3 seconds. It doesn't need to be a full deck. I've seen a lot of Joseph B's material before where it needs to be a full pack of 52 cards. This does not need to be a full pack of 52 cards. And the method is quite fooling. Because obviously they smush the cards up. It is a freely shuffled pack. They cut the cards. They pick any packet up. They assemble the deck however you want to. You know, you're in control of that card the whole time, and that's the whole point. Obviously, you're going to know what that card is because that's the end of the trick. The end of the trick is you're gonna tell them what the name of the card is, and it works every time. I've done this 5 or 6 times. I've shown Sarah. I've shown Thea. I've shown Ryland. It works every single time. It's not that this doesn't work. My issue with this is it doesn't bring anything new to the table for me. You know, it's kind of Vernon that says if you've got 15 different... Vernon actually talked about forces. He said if you've got like 30 different ways of forcing a card, but 1 revelation, well, you've only got 1 trick. But if you've got 30 revelations and 1 force, you've got 30 tricks. But the same is with this. This is, in essence, a card control. That's what this is. It's a very elaborate card control. You're controlling a playing card to a position where you know where it is so you can find it. What is the difference? Let me just grab a deck of cards here. From a layman's point of view, and as I say, if you're the sort of person that's performing for, let me just get rid of that gimmick. If you're the sort of person that's performing for magicians, then, you know, take this review with a pinch of salt, because obviously, I'll tell you right now, if you want to fool magicians, then get this. I'm sure it'll fool them. But from a layman's point of view, if you get a spectator to pick a card, and then you have the card put back in the deck, and you just do a simple card control, it doesn't have to even be a pass or anything fancy. You just do this and this and this and this, and you've controlled the card to the top of the deck. What's the difference from a layman's point of view between that and what you just saw me do on Ryland? Or, if you want to make it more fancy, do Gary Jones's Top Con control, which I think is so deceptive. So let's just say they've picked the 8 of hearts. You know, the card goes out-jogged. They can see the card right there. You then bury it further down into the pack. It's gone. And look, it's still on top of the deck. You know, what's the difference between that and what I just saw? What I just showed you, what this routine is? Well, the big difference is, with this, you have to have 10 cards put down, 10 packets of cards, so they have to have 10 packets of cards. You have to try and make them roughly equal, so we're going to need to do some of this and some of that. Then they pick one of the packets, they look at the card, they remember it, they cut it to the face, now they reassemble the thing, and now you're going to cut, and now they're going to shuffle it. You're like 2 or 3 minutes in at this point. I just like my magic to be more snappy. I like my magic to be more snappy. The control is a means to the end. I want to control the card so I can do something fun with it. I can do something exciting with it. And the sort of tricks that excite me when I learn them are tricks that are new in terms of revelation. Oh, this is amazing because it allows you to do this. Or this is amazing because it allows you to do that. This is not amazing. This is not amazing. It's just not amazing. What this is a card control. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to give this 30%. And it's because, and that's only my opinion. I know there's going to be Joseph B supporters in the comments that go, be fair to Joseph B. Be fair to Joseph B. Well, Joseph B's a nice guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy. But he is obsessed with fooling magicians. And this is 3 minutes of procedure in order to know where a card is in a deck of cards. You tell me, even the ardent Joseph B supporter, you tell me, what is more entertaining? Having a card picked and having to go through all that procedure to know where it is, and then you go, is that your card? Or an ambitious card sequence, for example, where they pick a card, it's lost in the pack and immediately comes to the top. Or a colour change or something like that. What's more memorable to the audience? Well, I'll tell you what's more memorable. What's more memorable is the trick where you've got an actual effect at the end of it, as opposed to, is this your card? This is the sort of thing that magicians, laymen hate, in my opinion. Now, if you, like I say, if you're a magician fooling guy, if your job is to, you know, if you love fooling magicians, if you want to get a trick that you can show to the guys down the magic club to fool them, then more power to you. Spend your $10, your $15, whatever it is. Get this. You won't be disappointed. It's very easy to do. You'll learn it as soon as you watch the download. Joseph B explains it very, very clearly, and it'll work every single time. Absolutely. But for me, I'm never going to do this. As soon as I've finished this review, this trick is going to go to the back of my mind. And if somebody meets me next month and says, hey, can you perform that trick, Victoria, that you performed by Joseph B., I will forget how it's done because I'm never going to do this. Gets 30% off me. That's just what I think. So the final review today, we have Wholesome by Kyle Purnell. Now, I have become recently a big Kyle Purnell fan. I absolutely loved his work on Dropped Call by Illusionist. I thought it was good. And I like his style. I like his glasses. He's got good glasses. But I also like his style. He's a very personable person. He's a great teacher. And he just seems like a nice guy. He's the sort of person that I think I'd like to hang out with. And so he came out with this. He's come out with a download. It's come out through Penguin Magic. It's called Wholesome. And it's a moving hole effect. And as soon as I saw this, I was like, man, I love moving hole effects, and I do. I've done a thing on magic stuff very early on in the life of this channel. I did a video on the 3 best tricks with holes of all time and different ways of moving holes around. Mike Close's pothole trick I have done for years. Holy Terror by Mike Powers is one of my favourite routines that Mike Powers has ever done. I even published my own moving hole effect, which was a version of the Matrix moving hole, but without using all the fancy gimmicks that Michael Chatelain used on Slim, my DVD Slim, and I called it Sunbed Matrix or something like that. So I love moving hole effects. So this is a moving hole effect that's quite interesting because the ad copy says that this is a moving hole effect where you use a regular deck of cards. So there's no gimmicks in this. As long as you've got a hole punch with you, and as long as you've got a deck of cards, you're good to go. There's no setup. It's completely impromptu. As long as you've got the cards and the hole punch, you're good to go. And that interests me because a lot of the time when I'm doing walk around, I've got a hole punch with me because I'm probably going to be doing the pothole trick or some other sort of variation of the hole routine. And I love being able to do the same trick in a completely different way. Because what I love is, let's say I've done a table and I've done Mike Close's pothole trick, and then I go to another table and somebody's kind of half seen the trick and they go, oh, can you do that trick that you did with the hole punch earlier on? I like to be able to say, well, let me show you something different, but I'm going to use a hole punch again. So I like doing that, which is why I know a whole bunch of different hole punch tricks. So the concept behind this interested me, and I love the idea of just having a deck of cards and a hole punch, because if I'm doing a stage show and I'm maybe doing a bit of close-up afterwards at the bar, I don't want to fill my pockets with stuff, but just have a deck of cards and a hole punch and nothing else. That's cool. So I originally I was thinking, well, what's the point? There's so many amazing gimmicks, but I mean, you know, if it's as good without the gimmicks, then this is something that interests me. So let me perform the routine for you first of all, so you can see exactly what it looks like. Because I think that the trailer, I just want to add this, I think that the trailer that Penguin produced for this did the trick a disservice. And what I mean by that is I don't think the trailer made the trick very clear. I think that it was a bit convoluted a little bit. I don't think you could tell what was going on in the first phase. So let me perform this routine for you, so you see exactly what it looks like. And then I'll talk about what I think about it. Yeah. So I have a pack of playing cards. Now, this is not a trick with a full deck of cards. In fact, Sarah, you're only going to need 1 card out of this deck. So as I riffle up, just say stop.
Stop.
Right there. Are you happy with that one?
Yeah.
It's the Jack of Diamonds. Is that a good card for you?
Yeah, it's fine.
Good stuff. Can you take this pen for me, please? And just sign the Jack of Diamonds. That would be absolutely amazing. If you could sign it, that'd be really good. When you have signed it, on the face, nice big letters, that would be good. And then when you've signed it, pass it me back. And then that way we'll know that that is indeed your card with your signature on it. There you go. Thank you very much. You can hold on to the Sharpie. So can you see that? Does the signature show up on there? Okay, sir.
Yes.
It's kind of a court card with a red pen signing it. But we'll go for this. Right. I'm going to take the hole punch and I'm going to punch the hole, a hole in the corner of the card. But I want you to see that I punched the indices of the card. Can you see that? Yeah. Really important that you see that I punched the indices of the card. Now I'm going to try and do something incredible here. This is not good. This is incredible. And what I want you to do, I want you to watch. I'm going to hold the card here. Can you see the card? Yeah. I'm just trying to get it so that I've got it in just the right. In fact, if I hold it this way, it might be better. Can you see the hole right there if I tilt the card up? Yes. You see the hole there? Good. Watch. I'm just going to cover up the card with the box for a second, and all I'm going to do is just pull. And watch what happens when I pull. when I pull, I can actually take that hole and I can move it from that side of the card to the other side of the card. Can you see it right there on the other side of the card?
Yes.
Now that's, you have to admit, that's kind of incredible really when you think about it, right? But I'm going to go one step further. Do you see the card? I'm going to try and pull it back to where it was. Watch. If I just take it, I can pull it slowly back over from that side, back over to the indices. It is right there, back on the indices of the card. That's your hole right there on your signed card, and you can examine everything. So as you can see, it's a 2-phase routine. Basically, that's what we have there. In the first phase, you have someone pick a card. They can pick any card. There is no force. The reason that you riffle the cards that are out-jogged from the deck is the box is because you want to have the box in play during the course of this routine. And Kyle's thinking is this is a nice way to have a card picked and still keep the box in play as opposed to putting the box down and then picking it up, which absolutely makes sense, by the way. It's also a signed card, which I like. I like the fact that it's a signed card. So they have a free choice of card, they sign it, and then you very cleanly punch the hole in the card. And I think that's one of the first things that's important when when you're doing a moving hole effect. It has to be obvious that the hole is punched in the card. I don't like it that much where you do a trick where you've already got a punched card. Hey, I've got this card and I've punched 4 holes in it. I don't think that's as good as when you have a card picked and you punch a hole in it openly. So I like that. I also, so the hole is punched and then you show it, and the first phase is you show it's there and then you move it over to the other side of the card. Now, this is a little fiddly. It took me a while to get this down. When I first started watching the download, I'll be honest, I was like, this is going to be really angly, but it's not really angly. Once you understand what's happening here, unless you're actually lying on your back looking up at the pack of cards, the angles are pretty much perfect. You just have to practice getting yourself from the hole being punched, showing it and coming back down. And then when you come back down, they can clearly see. And I haven't got it perfect, by the way. That performance that I gave you wasn't perfect, but I'm going to carry on working on it because I like this. When you come back down, they can clearly see where the hole is. And then the first phase is you just move it across and you just kind of use the box to move the hole across. And they can see that that hole has moved across. That's a really nice phase. The second phase is more of a topological illusion because you see it's there and then you come up and you move it back to where it was before on the indices. And I didn't know whether this would work or not. And I've shown it like 6 or 7 people. I showed it a couple of people over Zoom. I've shown it Ryland, showed it all my normal people. And every single person on the second phase, they were like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? Because immediately when you move that hole back, you can give the card out, the signed card, which is great because normally when you do a moving hole effect, a lot of moving hole effects, when you get to that point where you're moving the hole back, you're now going to have to do some sort of double lift on a double backed card, or you're going to have to do something in order to give the card out. But with this, you move the hole and you give it out immediately. And I love that moment in this routine. But as I say, I was a little bit worried that this moment here would be too obvious because it's a topological illusion, but it flew past absolutely everybody, which is really cool. And I love the subtlety of you showing that you punch the hole in the indices at the beginning, you move it over to the other side, and then you openly move it back onto the indices. The 2 phases rely on each other to work like that, because if you just did the first phase, there'd be a discrepancy if you gave the card out. And if you did the second phase, there'd be a discrepancy, but you put the 2 together and it just makes total sense. The second phase is completely self-working, basically. As long as you understand the pivot points that Kyle talks about, you're not going to have a problem with that at all. The first phase is the fiddly phase. That's the one that's going to take practice, and that's the one that I do need to work on a little bit more. I think it came across okay in the video, but I know I can get it crisper. The bottom line is, if you've never done a moving hole before, if you've never done a moving hole style routine before, then you have no idea how strong this is. But any routine with moving holes is so strong because people are aware that a hole in a card can't move. And then you suddenly start moving it, it blows people away. And as I say, it's one of my favorite plots. I think this is a really great addition to the moving hole concept. I really do. This is something that I want to get down because I want to do. I like the idea, actually, of doing this at the end of an ambitious card. I like the idea of one trick that I do an awful lot is the Riser deck by Mark Elston. If you don't know what that is, it's a variation on Daryl's rising card routine. And the idea is that you've got a deck of cards, you do an ambitious card routine, and at the end, you take the card and you put it into the deck, and it really openly goes into the deck of cards. You close the deck and you snap your fingers and you open it, and it's now on top of the deck. I like the idea of going from that, and I've got a way of doing it. Anybody who knows the Riser deck and also this download will think, how's that going to work? I've got a way of actually making this work. Immediately then going into Kyle's routine and then taking the signed card that's come to the top of the deck and doing this routine with it and then giving it out as a souvenir. Really like this. So yeah, it's a really cool routine. It's very, very commercial. It's not that difficult to do. The first phase is going to take practice, but just because it's a little bit fiddly, but it's not ridiculous. But as I say, the key strengths for this, for me, are it's almost impromptu. You can hand the card out immediately after moving the hole, and it's visible to the audience from a distance. It can be done close up, but also if you're doing a big table, this will work really well on a big table as well. So this is, for me, the standout trick of the 4 in this collection. I did like the first one, the phone trick, but this for me is even better. I'm going to give this 95%. It's definitely going into my act. I'm going to keep working on it so that I can get it looking a little bit smoother. But I really like this. And I highly recommend it. It's not that much money. You can get it from Penguin. It comes to you as an instant download and it's available instantly. It's just really good. So there you go, guys. That is another review show special in the bag. As I said, this one's all about downloads. It's the Download Lowdown. Let me know what you think of this format. Would you like to see another video on downloads in the future? If you would, let me know. Is there anything else you want me to review? You know, I've done reviews on particular products like the Insider by Mark Oberon and Pi Revelations and Gravity. I've done reviews on a particular company like Alakazam and Ace Magic Studio. I've done reviews on a particular thing like 4 Terrible Tricks or this one, 4 Downloads. I love messing around with the format with these review show specials. So if there's a particular thing that you want me to look at, let me know and I'll do a deep dive on it. Other than that, thank you for continuing to support the channel. Do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'm going to be back on Monday with 4 videos. We're going to have a 5x5 at 9, no, 3 videos, sorry. We're going to have a 5x5 at 9 o'clock. We're going to have a 6 o'clock. We're going to have a Magic Live, and then at 2 o'clock, we're going to have a shorts. So guys, I will see you then. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.